Hello, tech friends. Today we have the New York Times Travel Master, the best information on the world's most popular destinations, 101 destinations around the world. And all these images here, look at these famous sites. What's that? The Liberty Bell, it's cracked. Poor design. Eiffel Tower, and you've got the Excalibur Electronics logo there. It says, "We make you think," which is an interesting tagline for a company. Excalibur Electronics, their website, it does still exist, but they look like they've pivoted to electrical repair, installation, panel repair. I think it's more sort of business to business sort of stuff there. Let's flip this over and see what's on the other side. Whether you're in Chicago, San Francisco, Hong Kong or Paris, you can get Fodor's famous advice on hotels, not Hodor, Fodor, restaurants, shopping, attractions, nightlife and city tips with just the push of a button, and get familiar with the best your destination has to offer by reading thousands of articles from the travel pages of the New York Times. Want something else to read during the trip? Travel Master's Century of Business contains the top New York Times business-related stories from every decade of the 20th century. Quite business-focused, it's fascinating reading for either the business or pleasure traveller. Apparently, Travel Master puts the world at your fingertips. They've said that a few times now. A little bit of a picture of the device with what the buttons generally do, some of the menu, all that sort of stuff. I've got the year on here, copyright 2004. Let's pop this open. And that was a horrible noise. Here it is. Here's the device. Ooh. If it wants to be released, impressive that we've still got the packaging from so long ago, but we've also got the instruction manual, and that shows us all of the different things that are inside. Menu systems and all that sort of stuff, how to replace the batteries. This actually came with batteries from eBay, if you can believe that. Still working too. And then at the back, we've got the list of the travel destinations. Just to show you that a little bit closer, most of them are America, fair enough, but we do have some continental destinations. So we've got the UK are well represented here with Dublin, Edinburgh and London. Okay, I know that Dublin isn't in the UK, but you know it's in the right ballpark, isn't it? And then on the right hand side, we've got Sydney, Tokyo, Rome, Prague. So just cities, not actual like countries or anything like that. So this thing has got a lot of text in it. Let's pop it open. Okay, in the lid we've got some sort of reminder instructions. Rather than carrying around that manual, you can just you press on to turn it on, press up and down to go up and down. I mean, it's possible that some of these instructions weren't really necessary, but hey, maybe this is the first time you have encountered an electronic device, and certainly a Travel Master. Let's turn it on and see what we've got. If I just go back to get back to the main menu, here we are. Travel destinations on the top there. That's Century of Business. That's going to be a good read. And Setup. Let's just pop down to Setup. You can see the little cursor there moving on the left-hand side. In there, we can only change scroll speed and auto page down. There's a lot of text it's got to display. So there's a lot of scrolling and stuff that happens here. See, we've got previous and next and up and down. I mean, they look kind of like they sort of do the same feature, don't they? Okay, let's go and have a look at the main function. So travel destinations, we got Acapulco, Albuquerque. I'd struggle to get on the plane and ask to go to Acapulco. Oh, I said it correctly. Fantastic. Albuquerque, Amsterdam, Anchorage. You can see we're in the A's here, can't you? And then you can scroll down like this. Aspen, Athens, Atlanta, Bahamas. But if you press the ABC button, it'll say ABC mode on, and then when I press up and down, it will just skip to the next letter in the alphabet. There you go. There's Edinburgh, Florence, Geneva, Hong Kong. Should we go to Las Vegas? No chance. Let's go to London. So if I switch off ABC mode, and then if I just scroll down and then go into London, we've got an overview of the city. We've got hotels, restaurants, shopping. What else is down here? Attractions, nightlife, and tips. Tips, I think, might be the most fun, the fun one we've got here. Quick overview here. Faux doors. It keeps coming up. That must be like a Michelin guide sort of thing, I think. London is an enormous city, 600 square miles on a tiny island. Hey, not that tiny. Accommodating about 7 million inhabitants. Well, in 2004 anyway. 1/8 of the entire population of England, Scotland and Wales. But to many travellers, it never really feels big. It is fashioned on a different scale from other capital cities, as if given the English penchant for modesty and understatement, it felt embarrassed by its size. I've never felt embarrassed about the size of London. So then I've just backed out of there. That goes on and on and on. There's a lot of text about London, and I'm sure every destination on here too. If you go into, say, hotels, and then you've got this little selection here, which is kind of, well, you probably recognise that from any kind of travel website at all. This is the sort of cost of the hotel. Should we look and see what the most expensive things we have here? There's Blake's, 33 Roland Gardens, just giving you the address. And then if I scroll down, it's got the telephone number, the fax number, the area, and then it's got a bit of a description about it. Blake's is another world. It's another world. Designed by owners Anuska Hempel. Each room is a fantasy packed with precious bidimir. Okay, there's words in here I can't pronounce. Murano glass and modern pieces. This Blake sounds like a pretentious place. If I press next, there we go. It goes to the next sort of search result, if you like. So Claridge's, the Connaught, Covent Garden Hotel, the Dorchester. That's a famous one, isn't it? I wonder if it's got the Ritz or a Metropolitan there. So the Savoy, there we go. That's another famous one. And they're doesn't seem to have a telephone number. If I press down, oh no, it does. It's just on the next screen. So there we go. And what does it say about that? This grand hotel hosted Elizabeth Taylor's first honeymoon in one of its famous Riverview rooms, and it poured one of Europe's first dry martinis. In its this is aimed at the well-to-do traveller, isn't it? Okay, so what if we went for a cheaper one? Let's go to the bottom of the scale. Abbey Ass. What does it say about that? It says, next door to the vicarage, this pretty white stucco 1860 Victorian town house, once the home of a bishop, and that isn't going to be that flipping cheap, is it? Come on. Pull yourself together. It's got an overview there. So if I go back, we've got restaurants and things, shopping, attractions, and anything you could wish for. We'll try out some of these other ones in a different destination, I think. But let me just dive into the tips. I think you're going to like this. Arriving and departing, getting around, resources. Resources? What's that? Business hours, customs and duties, electricity, embassies, I guess that's unconsulates, emergencies, etiquette and behaviour. Right, now's our chance to learn about the London etiquette. There's the overview and there's business etiquette. Here we go. Right, the British stiff upper lip. Oh, actually, it'd be an American saying this, so I've probably got the wrong accent, but you get the general idea. The British stiff upper lip is more relaxed than before. On social occasions, the rule is to observe and then go with the flow. If you're visiting a family home, a gift of flowers is welcome. If it's for a meal, then take a bottle of wine perhaps, and maybe some candy. For the children, but not necessarily all three. That is true. Oh, you would be so unwelcome in London if you brought all three. You'd have those gifts thrown in your face. You'd say, it's not the baby Jesus that you're visiting. Kissing on greeting is still too forward and continental for most Brits. That was in 2004, but let me tell you, we have really moved on and are a much more intimate race. A warm race. We're not a race. A warm handshake is just fine. For goodbyes, if the atmosphere warrants, a quick one-cheek kiss is appropriate. The British can never say please, thank you, or sorry too often to thank your host. That's cool, isn't it? What does that last bit say? It says a phone call or thank you card does nicely. When was the last time you visited someone and sent them a thank you card? You should do it. Then there's business etiquette. Okay, we won't go into that. Right, let's come out of here and let's go somewhere else. Let's just we'll scroll down. Let's go to somewhere in America, I think. What about Chicago? Chicago. We've got the overview. Well, it's going to tell us about Chicago generally. Don't try to hang a clever moniker on Chicago. America's Midwestern metropolis moves too fast to be pinned down. What was once considered a gangster's paradise, respect to you there, Coolio, has evolved into an eclectic amalgam of transcendent architecture, world-class theatre, and rabid sportsmanship. Okay, that's telling you a lot about Chicago. Obviously, we've got the hotels. Should we have a look at a restaurant? Let's see. Should we go to a nice cheap restaurant in Chicago? Let's just scroll. Oh, there only seems to be one. There's only one cheap restaurant in Chicago. Rambutan. It says, what does that say? Near North Philippine, maybe a place. After opening to considerable acclaim on the far north side and rapidly outgrowing its 25-seat home, this rising star has a new location with more than double the space and an outdoor patio. Holy moly! And a liquor license. They should have started with that, I think. The menu is still set up tapas style. All dishes are small and cost between $6 and $13. Look at that. That is quite a detailed review, isn't it? I mean, I know what you're thinking. This is basically TripAdvisor, isn't it? And of course it is. It's covering all the different things. It's got things that you can do as well, the nightlife as well. What can you do in Chicago? What's the overview of the Chicago's nightlife? Chicago's entertainment varies from loud and loose to sophisticated and sedate. You'll find the classic Chicago corner bar in most neighborhoods, along with trendier alternatives. The strains of blues and jazz provide much of the backbeat to the city's groove. Okay, so that's that. Should we let's go somewhere completely different. Let's whiz down to Florence. Hey, yeah, let's go to Florence. That's in Italy, isn't it? I hope. Otherwise, life wouldn't be the same without Florence. Literally. The city gave birth to the Renaissance. Yep. What about the tips, though? Because I'm curious about the etiquette of the Italians. If Florence turns out not to be in Italy, this is going to be very embarrassing, isn't it? Let's go down to resources again, and then I want to know what the etiquette and behaviour is like. Let's see. Italy, yes, got it right, is a country teeming with churches, and many of them house significant works of art. Because they are places of worship, visitors should take care to dress appropriately. Shorts, spaghetti straps, sleeveless garments are taboo in many churches in Italy. So too are short shorts anywhere. But especially on the lower part of your body. When touring churches, especially in the summer when it's hot and no sleeves are desirable, it's wise to carry a sweater or scarf to wrap around your shoulders before entering the church. Do not enter a church with food, and do not drink from your water bottle while inside. Do not go in if a service is in progress. If you have a cellular phone, turn it off before entering. Actually, some of that is excellent advice that people would benefit from today. Okay, right, that's a lot of the details that's sort of in the general travel destinations part. Let's just have a quick check on Century of Business. So this is their articles that it said that would be very interesting to both the business and pleasure user. 1900 to 1909. Let's dive in there. And we start with a story straight off the bat. Dies in vat of hot beer. Troy, New York, May 9th. But body of Samuel... I mean, it's not funny, is it? Come on. Body of Samuel Bolton Jr., a prominent brewer and businessman of this city, was found today in a... It's not funny. Come on. It's serious. It was found today in a vat of hot beer. Mr. Bolton had but a short time short time before, returned from a pleasure drive and chatted pleasantly with friends. About noon, his hat was seen beside the vat of boiling beer, and an investigation brought to light his body in the steaming liquid. Doctors were called, who gave their belief that death was instantaneous. Besides Mr. Bolton's hat, his coat, watch, and pocketbook were found near the vat. And the general belief is that this was a case of suicide. What a way to go! It is said that Mr. Bolton had lost heavily in stocks lately. That was May 10th, 1901. Gosh, I think I should have started the video with that story. That was fascinating. I mean, obviously, there's going to be many, many more of those. It's just, something cool you can read and impress your friends with at a dinner party or at a restaurant that you booked because you selected it on here, and then afterwards go to your hotel and stay there based on the same sort of device choices. There we are. New York Times Travel Master. Don't leave home, don't leave the country without it. That's right. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon.